It's around noon, woke up about half an hour ago, so I'm gonna get right to my morning routine, eat some food, and then get on a few calls and get to editing the video from yesterday. So I've sat here for the last few hours, eating some food and scrolling on my phone a little bit, watching some TV, booking a few calls, texting a few people back, but not operating at the level of performance I could be. And I'm completely done with that. From now on, I'm setting a few more rules. So as you guys know, I have 3 rules in this challenge already. Number 1, I have to post every day. Number 2, I have to show exactly what I do and how I do it. And number 3, by the end of this year, I have to scale my clients to $1 million a month cash collected between all of them. However, I'm also going to add, we could say, conditionary personal rules. Not necessarily for the challenge, but for my ability to be able to complete the challenge more effectively. Rather than just performing at the bare minimum and getting enough done in the day, the goal is to be able to wake up, get to work, and work until my eyes are completely closed. However, eventually I'm going to add a few things like going to the gym more often instead of just running, because I am training for a 10 mile that I'm going to be running at the end of this month. Until the end of this year is just going to be waking up, cold shower, sunlight, meditation, black coffee, and work. And whenever I do eat food, it's going to be in the morning or at night, and then one small snack before a run or a workout. And no content as well. I'm just going to sit there, not on any technology, eat my food, and then get right back to work. And it's just small behaviors like that, like what you wouldn't think add up, but it's small things like that. Or it's like going to bed an hour late, waking up an hour and a half later. And then it carries over, and it carries over, and it carries over again. And that's something that I just don't want to accept. Because if you continue to let yourself perform at a low level of performance, then there's no question who's to blame if you don't get the results you want. You could blame it on the market you're operating in. You could blame it on it being a little harder. But in all honesty, did you give it your best? Probably not. So the question is, who do you want to be? Because I know who I want to be. And I'm going to show that throughout the rest of this series. It's time to get to work. I just finished 6.5 hours of work. Got a decent amount done. Procrastinated a little bit at the start there, but once you get into the flow, you get into the flow. Now I'm about to head to sleep. Gonna eat a little bit of food and get done with the night. One thing I did notice though is like under my eyes started hurting a little bit. I feel like I'm just a little bit weaker after sitting there physically, and that's the thing that's been getting me, because I've been able to master my mind and the doubts and lack of self-confidence. That is out of the picture. However, what typically does affect it is my physical health. And that's something I've really realized, and I think that's because I've valued that physical health over a lot of things, which makes sense. I've been into fitness, martial arts, fighting, and all that stuff for 4 to 5 years now. So with that being said, I kind of have 2 options: ignore it or do something about it. And I'm going to choose both, because guess what? Your life isn't binary. Meaning that right now, I'm going to ignore it just for the next few weeks. And yes, I'm still going to be running, I'm still going to be eating good foods, but it's not going to be the utmost priority. And I'm going to implement a few things over like the next following few months as I go back to Michigan, and then I'm probably going to go out to Thailand and some other places. However, it's going to be a little bit of being on the back burner until next year, after I've scaled my clients to $1 million a month. So if you ever have problems like that with yourself, and that's what's making you doubt in your business, or maybe there is self-doubt, what you need to do is figure out, what do you actually value and what do you want to prioritize right now? What's the goal? And then ask yourself, are you willing to sacrifice that thing, or whatever doubts you might be having? Are you willing to sacrifice something in order to get the goal that you want? Because that's what's going to remove the doubts. If you work 14 hours a day, are you willing to sacrifice those 14 hours of your day and put them to work instead of something else? Because if you are, guess what? That's what's going to make the self-doubt go away. So it's time to end day 11.